25 years, we've built trust, not through noise, but through consistency. That consistency became a promise you can hear. From salaries to first loans to new businesses and homes, together we turned those firsts into futures. We helped you connect, progress, grow, achieve, and in doing so, we've uplifted 26 million South Africans, families, businesses, and the communities around us. We showed up every day for 25 years, treating each day as day one. Now, that promise is beating with a new energy. We are fast-tracking the future, creating more ways for people to connect, more room for businesses to scale, and meaningful financial security through insurance. Our new engines of growth, payments and embedded finance, will redefine what's possible. While our ambition remains bold to take our South African success story to the world. Capitec, bank on better.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Capitec family. My name is Santi Botha, and I chair the boards of Capitec. It is my pleasure to welcome you all here to the 2026 Annual General Meeting of the shareholders of Capitec. Welcome also to those shareholders who are present here today, as well as those attending virtually. We entered 2026 anticipating a more stable backdrop compared to the tariff tsunami of 2025. But to expect stable nowadays, as we all know, is a pipe dream. Geopolitical unpredictability and often overnight change is what it's all about. Low levels of trust persist across all major global markets. The first 7 months of 2026 bears testimony to that. We find ourselves in a world of a weaker global growth outlook, an ever-fluctuating and higher oil price, with supply-side inflation remaining under pressure. Rapid advances and major investment in AI across all spheres of business continue to dominate the headlines, but it has also brought about heightened cyber and market risks. South Africa. In the current geopolitical chaos, with inflation targets and economic growth remaining under pressure, uneasy US relations, as well as other challenges, our financial system remains broadly resilient, supported by strong capital positions and liquidity. As South Africans, most of us will always make a plan. We have a winning mentality, and we will contribute in whatever way we can to build on our magnificent country's growth potential. In the world of Capitec, our focus is clear. We are the bank for everyone, and our number one priority is to serve our clients to the utmost of our ability. We have been doing so for more than 25 years, and we will continue in our quest to be their most trusted financial partner. Diversification of income streams is our central theme, where Capitec has transformed from starting out as the bank for the unbanked more than 2 decades ago to a financial services group serving more than 26 million clients today. The significant growth in the insurance and value-added services portfolios clearly show that we have moved beyond banking. Our world-class executive team has a razor-sharp focus on fostering a client-centric culture, both internally and externally, by investing for the future in the constant upskilling and reskilling of our people, in world-class technology, and in client insight-driven innovation, to name an important few. At the AGM of 2025, we announced the appointment of Graham Lee as the new Group CEO of Capitec with effect from the 19th of July 2025. It feels like yesterday, Graham? Today, more than a year later, I speak on behalf of the board when I say that it has been a most satisfactory appointment. So thank you, Graham, for stepping up and into the position of CEO with such ease, and for continuing to steer the ExCo team with vision and clarity. Today, we also say goodbye to one of the founders of Capitec, Dr. Chris Otto, who will be retiring from the Capitec boards, but I will say a few words about Chris later. So let's start with the matters of this AGM. As a quorum of members is present, we have at least 3 shareholders present and at least 25% of votes have been submitted on proxy, and notice of this meeting has been given in an appropriate manner. I declare this meeting properly constituted. The notice convening this meeting was distributed on 30 June 2026, allowing sufficient time for members to peruse the contents thereof. I propose, therefore, that the notice be taken as read. The procedure for voting today, this being a hybrid meeting with a virtual component, we will vote on a poll on all the resolutions proposed in the notice. Guidance on how to vote was included in the notice of this AGM and is available on the Capitec website, in the Shareholder Centre, as well as the Computershare Meet Now registration portal for online attendees. A copy of the guidance note on the voting procedure has also been made available at this venue, so please follow the instructions carefully. We will open the voting on all the resolutions now to enable you to vote at your leisure whilst I read through all the resolutions. On your phone, cast your vote on each resolution by either selecting for, against, or abstain. The green tick is an indication that your vote was successful. To change your vote, select change your vote. Voting will remain open until I announce that the poll will be closed. You will be able to ask questions via text or verbally, view the webcast and vote whilst the poll is open if you have joined online. I will allow for questions after all the resolutions have been read. Once all questions relating to the resolutions have been dealt with appropriately, we will ask you to finalize your votes, close the poll, and we will display the results on all the resolutions on the screen. Shareholders attending via electronic communication who wish to ask a question must select the Q&A icon. You can then either type your message in the chat box at the bottom of the messaging screen and press the arrow button, or press *1 to raise your hand and join the queue on the web page. The moderator will test your audio quality before your interaction here with us today. The Companies Act requires that the audited annual financial statements, including the directors and audit committee reports, the report of our Social, Ethics and Sustainability Committee, and the remuneration report be presented to shareholders. A summary of the financial statements and these reports are available on the Capitec website. Cora Fernandez, Cora, please stand up, who is chairman of our Social, Ethics and Sustainability Committee, and Vusi Mahlangu, chairman of our Human Resources and Remuneration Committee. As you can see, they are here. to address any questions that you might have after all the resolutions have been read. Graham Lee, our Group CEO, will present an overview of Capitec's performance at the end of this AGM. So, we now move to the business of today. Ordinary resolutions 1 to 3, 4 directors retire by rotation at this AGM. The directors who have made themselves available for re-election are myself, Nadia Betai and Nadine Ford-Hoon. Dr. Chris Otto, long-standing non-exec director, as mentioned earlier, will be retiring from the board and is not available for re-election today. I will now ask our lead independent director, Vusi Mahlangu, to table my re-election. So, Vusi.
Good afternoon. Ordinary resolution number 1, it is the re-election of Santi Botha as a director of the company. Chair of the boards and the directors of Directors Affairs. Santi has vast experience, having started her career as Unilever, working in both South Africa and the UK, and then served as an executive director of both Absa Bank and MTN Group. She was Chancellor of Nelson Mandela University from 2011 to 2017. She served as a chairman and member of the boards of a number of listed companies in the insurance, telecommunication, fast-moving consumer goods, and education industries. Apart from the Capitec Group and bank board membership, she's also chairman of our insurance company, Capitec Life. Santi has served to the boards and is chairman of Capitec and Capitec Bank from the 1st of June 2019. Thank you.
Vusi. Thanks for that. So you can vote now. If you have no questions, we'll leave that until the end. So ordinary resolution number 2 is the re-election of Nadia Betai as a director of the company. Nadia is an independent, non-executive director of Capitec. Nadia is present. Nadia, will you please be upstanding? This is Nadia. Nadia has extensive experience in mergers and acquisitions, strategic implementation, and business operations management in the telecommunications and technology industries. She has served as the financial director for Vodafone Ireland, the chief strategy and business development officer for the Vodacom Group, and the chief operations officer for Vodacom Business Ventures and Strategic Partnerships. She currently serves on the boards of Endeavour South Africa, E2 Investments, Metro Fibre Networks, and the investment committee of the 274 Nebula Fund. Nadia is a valuable director on our board. So, as I said, she was appointed to the boards of Capitec and Capitec Bank on 7 September 2023. Ordinary resolution number 3 is the re-election of Nadine Ford-Hoon as a director of the company. Nadine is also chairman of the audit committee of the company. Nadine is present, so Nadine, please be upstanding. This is Nadine. Nadine has over 30 years business experience, mainly heading up finance divisions, ensuring sound governance and accountability. She has extensive experience in the financial services sector. She has served as the Group Chief Financial Officer of the South African Reserve Bank and Alexander Forbes Group Holdings, the Financial Director of Afri Financial Services, and has served on the board of Telkom. She currently serves on the boards of Capitec Life, SA Corporate Real Estate. It was announced today that Nadine has also been made chairman of the Independent Regulatory Board for Auditors. So congratulations. Very good, Nadine. She's on the board of Avenge, Grindrod, and Pay Inc., and she has a lot more time for Capitec. So very happy to have you on board. Nadine was appointed to the boards of Capitec and Capitec Bank on 7 September 2023. So please vote now on Ordinary Resolutions 1 to 3 if you have no questions. I now move to Ordinary Resolution number 4. Who is this man? So the board appointed one new director. When I saw new director, I thought new old director, old new director, Harry Fourie. Shareholders now have the opportunity to confirm Harry's appointment. Harry obviously needs no introduction as the previous CEO of Capitec. He retired last year, around about this time, and has served a 12-month cooling off period. Harry, as you all know, he's one of the founders of Capitec and has more than 25 years experience in the financial services sector, having served as head of operations until his appointment as CEO of Capitec in 2014. He held the CEO role until his retirement in July 2025. In 2019, Harry was named Business Leader of the Year at the Sunday Times Top 100 Companies Awards. Harry's appointment as a non-exec director of Capitec and Capitec Bank will be effective from tomorrow if shareholders confirm his appointment today. So please vote now if you have no questions on this resolution. So, Ordinary Resolutions 5 to 8. The members of the Social, Ethics and Sustainability Committee, or the SESCO, as we like to call it in Capitec, are Cora Fernandez, who's the chairman of the committee, as I said earlier, Nadia Bataille, Stan du Plessis, and Ismail Mullah. Shareholders now have the opportunity to confirm their membership of this committee. So, Ordinary Resolution number 5 is the election of Cora Fernandez as a member of the SESCO. So, Cora, we know what you look like, and that's a beautiful photograph. Ordinary Resolution number 6, the re-election of Nadia Bataille as a member of the SESCO. Ordinary Resolution number 7, the election of Dr. Stan du Plessis as a member of the SESCO. Stan, please be upstanding. That is Stan. And Ordinary Resolution number 8 is the election of Ismail Mullah as a member of the SESCO. Ismail is also present. Thank you, Ismail. Ismail is the executive who's responsible for risk inside the Capitec Group. So, please vote now on, if you have no questions, on Resolutions 5 to 8. Ordinary Resolution number 9 is the reappointment of Deloitte as joint external auditor until the next AGM in 2027. Lito Nunes, who served as the engagement partner, I see Lito sitting there in the back, until the next AGM in 2027. And Lito is here in respect of the FY 2026 external audit. So Lito, maybe just be upstanding. That is Lito. And then Penny Binney, Deloitte's new engagement partner for Capitec, has been appointed. Is Penny here? There's Penny Binney. That's our new engagement partner from Deloitte. KPMG, Ordinary Resolution number 10, is the reappointment of KPMG as joint external auditor until the next AGM in 2027. Javi Colby, the KPMG engagement partner for Capitec. I see Javi sitting there in the back. So Javi, everybody must see what our external auditors and partners look like. There he is. So please vote now if you have no questions regarding Resolutions 9 and 10. So ordinary resolution number 11, it's the authority to, 1, issue loss-absorbent capital securities, and 2, ordinary shares upon the occurrence of a trigger event in respect of the loss-absorbent convertible capital securities. So please vote now if you have no questions on this resolution. Ordinary resolution number 12 is the general authority to issue ordinary shares for cash. So please vote now if you have no questions. Ordinary resolution 13 is the general authority for the company to repurchase and its subsidiaries to purchase up to 5% of the ordinary shares issued by the company. So please vote now if you have no questions on this resolution. Ordinary resolution number 14 is the approval of the remuneration policy. Also, please vote if there's no questions. And then ordinary resolution 15 is the approval of the remuneration report in the IAR. And once again, please vote now if you have no questions. So we have now covered the 15 ordinary resolutions for this AGM. So I now move to the special resolutions, of which there are 4. So special resolution number 1 is the approval of the non-executive director's remuneration for the financial year that ends on 28 February 2027. So please vote now if you have no questions. Special resolution number 2 is the approval to change the name of the company to Capitec Limited. The change of Capitec's name, just some information which I think is important. The change of Capitec's name from Capitec Bank Holdings Limited to Capitec Limited is to align it strategically better with the group's evolution into a diversified financial services provider. Large parts of our business extend beyond banking, such as insurance, value-added services, and Capitec Connect. It is important that capital requirements are aligned to both our banking and non-banking activities and match the underlying risk, which is very important. So that's special resolution 2. Then special resolution 3 is the approval of the amended Memorandum of Incorporation, our MOI. Capitec's Memorandum of Incorporation had to be updated following the recent simplification of the JSE listing requirements, the amendments of the Companies Act and the Financial Sector Regulation Act, as well as new prudential standards and directives and other circulars issued by regulatory authorities. The amended Memorandum of Incorporation will substitute the company's current Memorandum of Incorporation in its entirety. So please vote now if there's no questions. Special resolution number 4 is the authority for the board to authorize the company to provide financial assistance to related companies and corporations. So please vote now if you don't have any questions. So those are the 4 special resolutions. So we've now concluded on all the resolutions for this AGM, and we'll now move to the question section. There are roving microphones in the room. So what I'd like to do is start with the shareholders present here today, and see whether there are questions in the room. So the roving microphones are in the back. Any questions? There's a hand up.
Good afternoon. Ian Burcock, individual shareholder.
Sorry, just 1 second. One thing I forgot to say, when you ask the question, please state your name, company or private, and then ask your question.
I think I just did.
Sorry, didn't hear.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly.
At last year's AGM, I asked a question regarding internet banking and app banking, and Gerrie Fourie said that you will get the full functionality of the app on your laptop or your tablet, and he estimated 6 months. After 6 months had gone past, nothing had changed. I followed up in April, 20th of April to be exact, and I was told that the scope had broadened, but that they were aiming for a launch in July. July has now passed, and nothing has happened. Can we please have an update as to when internet banking is going to actually get into the 21st century?
Thank you for that question. Quite an aggressive question. But I will...
However, all I'm doing is matching
100%.
Gerrie's attitude to me at last year's meeting.
Okay, can I ask the Group CEO to please answer that question?
Sure, thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the question. We very often make choices to reprioritize our resources, and we mostly focus on prioritizing safety and security and stability. And sometimes that requires that we are slower with new products or with replacing channels. We do have internet banking now in production, our new version of it. It's in the latter stages of staff pilot, and I am hesitant to provide you with a precise promise, but it is in the latter stages of that staff pilot, sir.
Thank you, Graham. Any more questions in the room? There's a hand up, please.
Philip de Jager. I'm representing the members of the UCT Retirement Fund. And, I've got a few statements and I'm trying to convert them into questions. But just to say that it's been a good year, so well done, Graham. And Capitec definitely fulfills a very useful function in the South African economy. But I'm not here to praise Singh. My members are worried about remuneration levels, and I want to ask questions around remuneration policy, but specifically not aimed at execs. I want to start with the foundation, non-exec remuneration. So now I have to convert it into questions. Number one, you say nothing about how to keep a benchmark spiral from taking place in your policy and remuneration. And I would really encourage that your REMCO starts looking at what do we do about benchmark spiraling. Then on the non-exec side, I think you must have heard this before, and that is there's no payment per meeting. So my question is, why not? And the differential between the chair of the non-execs and the rest is, the quantum is surprising. So my question is, why? Thank you.
Thank you. So we have the chairman of the remuneration here. So Vusi, I'm going to ask you to answer some of the questions asked, and then I will conclude on that as well.
Oops. So I think, first, if you just look at the increase for the year, I think most of them were just over 5 or 6%. There were 1 or 2 adjustments that needed to be made in terms of when you do the benchmarking. I do take your point about the benchmarking exercise, but it's quite interesting when we do engage with shareholders. One of the questions that comes up is, do you do a benchmarking exercise? And clearly we do a benchmarking exercise. We do try and target the 50th percentile. So if you just compare where we are relative to the other banks, you will see that ours is, we think we are the 50th percentile. I think on the question of meetings or board fees per meeting, I think you have to look at the attendance of the board and say, I can't recall a board where I went where people were not there, for starters. The second one is that one is a board member, regardless of whether you've attended a meeting or not attended a meeting. And therefore, if you are only going to pay based on attendance, it doesn't mean that your responsibility as a board member therefore diminishes. The last point I just want to make on board fees per meeting is I also wouldn't want us to have meetings for the sake of having meetings. So I think it's appropriate that the number is a fixed number, and to the extent that we have to have more than the required board meetings, so be it. Maybe the last comment from our side is we do engage with shareholders on an annual basis comprehensively around the business and around remuneration. And I think to the extent that maybe we need to do something similar so we can ventilate and have a proper discussion around some of these issues. Thanks.
Okay, and your last question as well, in terms of chair fee versus the other NEDs, I think it's an important question. What we do in Capitec, from a board point of view, we do a board evaluation, performance evaluation, and we cover every single director in terms of contribution to the business and adding value to the business, as well as the functioning of the different committees. So performance evaluation plays a major role in Capitec, not just from an exec point of view, but also from a non-exec point of view. So benchmarking is one thing, but performance throughout, scoreboard, is really what it's about. So I'm giving you a generic answer. We can take it offline as well, further, remuneration-wise. But I note the point on benchmark spiraling, because it's something we discuss at the Remuneration Committee on a fairly regular basis. And Capitec at the moment, to pay at 50% benchmark, a lot of shareholders feel we should be at 75, but we are quite comfortable at 50. So I'm going to close that question. Any more questions from other shareholders as well? Can we have a microphone, please?
I'm Nicky Rust, individual shareholder. I'd just like to know, to what extent is the bank exposed to bad debts? And is there a trend of a higher risk developing?
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask the CEO to deal with that question.
Sure. Thanks. We are the largest unsecured lender in South Africa. Our business is taking on that risk and making sure that we manage and mitigate it better than anybody else. Of course there is risk, but we make sure that we price for it, we track it, and we manage it. All of our risk targets are coming in precisely within the metrics of tolerance that we priced for.
Any more questions in the room? And then I'm going to close it. Okay, thank you very much for the questions. I'm now going to look at the questions that we've received, or comments that we've received via text. Nicholas van Riet, there's a question. My compliments to Capitec on their new Capitec card machines, which are a vast improvement on their old machines. But the situation, I'm not going to read all the words, but the situation where each card machine requires a different email address for registration is very difficult, where one uses several machines. I've been told that it is how it is. So I can't believe we've been told that that is what it is. So Vim, can I please ask that the person have asked that we sort out this simple issue. Vim, is there anything you would like to add to that comment? Oh, there you are. Okay. We take note of the comment and we will be on it to fix it. So that is an undertaking. Nicholas van Riet, another question. The acquisition of Avifin leaves some questions. The write-downs for Avifin seem to exceed the purchase price, and yet it is claimed to be making a profit. Please elaborate on the roadmap with Avifin. We had a discussion this morning with the CEO of Avifin, who was at the board meeting. Quite a lengthy discussion. Maybe, Graham, you want to give 2 sentences also on Avifin, on that?
Sure. Thank you. So, thank you. Avifin does remain profitable. It is an excellent young management team running a business that allows us to experiment in different markets without burning capital because it is already profitable in those markets. And I do not understand the write-down part of the question.
Absolutely. So thank you for that. Then the third comment from, and that's the last one I'm going to read, from Nicholas van Riet, is the insurance side of Capitec could do with lots more focus, as this side of the business should be an absolute money spinner given the client base of Capitec. Please elaborate with Capitec's plan on how to compete in this competitive market. Now, this is a long discussion, so maybe 2 sentences on the insurance market and the potential that we see in this market. So, Graham, I'm going to ask you to answer that as well.
Thank you. I am going to stop sitting down, I think.
You need to come and stand here next to me.
Insurance is a business that leverages what Capitec's strengths are. The strengths in distribution, the strengths in brand, and of course all of the data that allows us to understand our clients and predict all of the necessary attributes looking forward. We have a massive opportunity looking forward with respect to insurance. As successful as it's been, and it is already more than a quarter of Capitec's total earnings, there are many more opportunities to come as we look forward to other types of insurance, different ways of thinking as to how we reach those clients and serve them.
Thank you. Then a question from Mhluli Ngube. This is relating to REM as well as social ethics. First REM and then social ethics. So remuneration disclosure. Can the Remuneration Committee confirm whether ESG KPIs, including financial inclusion, fraud prevention, responsible credit extension, and customer satisfaction are incorporated into SDI and/or LTI awards, whether malice and clawback provisions apply to all executive awards, whether LTI vesting is at least 3 years with clearly defined performance conditions, and whether individual executive remuneration, including FY26, SDI and LTI outcomes, will be disclosed.
I can confirm that all of those things are in place. If you look at our remuneration report, you will see that we do have non-financial KPIs, and all of those things are mentioned there, and all of those malus clauses, we do have them. So everything that has been asked, I think I can confirm that we do those things. Thanks.
Thank you. Financial inclusion strategy. Can the Social and Ethics Committee explain how Capitec is advancing financial inclusion among underserved communities? How the March 2025 fee simplification aligns with responsible and client-centered banking? How responsible credit extension and indebtedness are monitored, and how Capitec Connect contributes to digital inclusion. Now, that's about 5 questions in one. But Cora, maybe just high level, talk about financial inclusion, the importance of that within social and ethics.
Capitec does not have a financial inclusion strategy.
Sorry? Yeah.
Capitec does not have a financial inclusion strategy. Our focus is on serving our clients well, regardless where they sit in their life cycle, what level of income they earn. So we don't have a financial inclusion strategy. By serving our clients well, by building a trusted brand, people that were previously underserved, we become their first choice, and that's how we make sure that people that were previously not served or underserved come to Capitec, is through our pricing and being a trusted brand and meeting the clients wherever they are, being the branch, SSTs, or on the app.
Thank you, Cora. Climate Risk Lending Book, TCFD. Can the Risk and Capital Management Committee explain how Capitec assesses and manages climate-related risks across its lending book and operations, including the integration of climate risk into provisioning and impairment, operational decarbonization targets, and the environmental impact of Capitec Connect's infrastructure. Stan, as chairman of our RCMC, is present.
The risk modeling and assessment is extensive. We do so both for the assets and liability side of the group's balance sheet and on the operational risk side of the balance sheet. And we do so within a regulated framework. So this is not just an initiative by Capitec. We do so as do all the other banks in the country under the guidance of the Prudential Authority. And we submit those climate-related scenario modeling results also to the Prudential Authority for their confirmation. So we are compliant, and I can also assure the shareholders that we take this very seriously and do so very rigorously.
Thank you, Stan. So Nicholas van Riet, there's more questions from him as a shareholder. May I suggest, I'm going to ask the question because he's very clear that he would like answers on his questions. But Nicholas, can I also suggest via our group secretariat, we will reach out to you, that we have a proper detailed discussion with you from a board point of view, that we cover literally all the bases of all the questions that you've asked. The question from Nicholas that I will read out as well, and Grant, I'm going to ask you to address this, is the approval to issue the relevant loss-absorbent capital securities and the ordinary shares upon the occurrence of a trigger event. He's asking what specific loss-absorbent issues are being addressed and why can they not be addressed in the normal balance sheet manner? So can we maybe just, Grant, look at that?
Thank you very much for the question. So I think just talking about loss absorption, you will be aware that from this year, all banks are required to issue FLAC instruments. So it's called First Loss Absorbed Capital. Our DMTN has just been approved, and so we'll take our first issuance to market probably the first week in November. So as the regulations are changing, we are having to issue these type of instruments, let's say, for loss-absorbing purposes. I think there's nothing more to add than that.
Thank you. Then the Mhluli Ncube, CEO transition and board succession. Following Chris Otto's retirement, can the Nominations and Governance Committee explain how the board is managing succession following Chris Otto's retirement, preserving institutional knowledge and Capitec's founding values, addressing the board's current skills composition and strengthening expertise in areas such as fintech, international banking and climate risk? Now, clearly, one of the things that we take extremely seriously in Capitec is succession planning and the whole issue of having the right people around the table of where the business is at and where the business is going, also from a fintech perspective. So in terms of Chris Otto's retirement, one of the resolutions, ordinary resolution number 4, is for the appointment of Gary Fourie. So I don't think you get more institutional knowledge than that. So it's from one founder to another who's also going to sit around the table. So succession planning is really top of mind within our business. Now, there's more questions from Nicholas van Riet. I will personally attend to that as well, to really say let's engage further in terms of the questions raised. Okay, so are there any questions? Because, yeah, so it's basically just those two shareholders who each had quite a long list of questions, but we will engage with them on an individual basis. So are there any questions by phone? No. Okay, so thank you very much. So I'm now going to ask, we've now covered all the questions, so I'm now going to ask that you talk amongst yourselves for sort of a minute or two whilst the team will collate the results of the resolutions, and then we will display the results on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, can we settle down? Can we settle down? The results are ready, and I'm pleased to report that all the resolutions have been passed with the requisite majority. So can we just have a look at them? So, as you can see, on all the resolutions, ordinary resolutions, the 15 have all been passed with a requisite majority. Then the special resolutions, of which there are 4, have also been passed. So thanks very much to the team for doing the administration on that. So before I conclude on the formal part of this AGM, allow me to say a few words about Dr. Chris Otto, one of the founders of Capitec. Chris has served on the Capitec boards since launch more than 25 years ago. He is without doubt one of the foremost investment and business entrepreneurs that this country has produced to date. I have worked with Chris for the past 7 years. Chris is a force of nature, with a strong opinion on most issues, be it in the form of fact, belief, or just being devil's advocate. Never groupthink for Chris. The attributes that Chris has in abundance are a razor-sharp intellect, deep integrity, innovative thought, an entrepreneurial drive, immense business experience and expertise, and sound judgment. Chris has been relentless in continuously raising the ambition of management and making sure that the company is well positioned for the future on all business levels. He has always been ready for any new challenge that the board had to face and is certainly no tick-box director. Chris has been a constant and a major asset in the world of Capitec. I speak on behalf of the board, Chris, and management when I say thank you for being ever present, and I'm sure will continue to be so in the ongoing growth journey of this incredible business. We wish you well in your continued quest for greatness in South Africa and beyond. Let's all be upstanding, please, and give Chris a round of applause. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have now dealt with all the agenda items, and I would like to sincerely thank you for attending this AGM, both here as well as virtually, and for your interest in Capitec, and I declare the formal part of this AGM closed. We now have one last video to watch before I'm going to hand over to Graham Lee to do the overview presentation of the business. And there's no more questions after Graham's presentation. We have lots of time after Graham's presentations. Any questions you would like to ask any of us from a board point of view or the executive team that's here. Thanks a lot.
25 jaar is 'n baie lang tyd en dit laat mens dink aan hoeveel mense het saam met ons gegroei en dit laat jou besef, is dit net 'n bankie, 'n mylpaal en dit is deel van mense se lewens.
Building long-lasting relationships with clients and making sure each and every client is happy and satisfied with the service that we provide to them.
We started out, we went out there and we took the client on. And from the beginning, we had many clients who needed our service, who wanted us. They didn't know they need banking. We knew we could offer them services that would change their lives for the better. There was not one day that we felt this is not working.
Innovation is creativity put into action. We start by asking why, by challenging what exists, and by finding simpler and better solutions to make a meaningful difference in our clients' lives.
The foundation of everything we do is still going to be the trust elements, what we're doing with product health and creating client experiences that are meaningful to our clients. And to top it all off, it's an appreciation that value doesn't just end in our South African context, but what opportunities can we take beyond our borders.
For us, Capitec, we want to be the most trusted bank in the world, right? It's a bold vision, right? And it takes collective ownership to understand that. There's no such thing in Capitec as a spectator, right? You're going to be involved in projects from day one. You're going to be empowered to make those decisions. And that's exactly the Capitec way.
We are a technology company with a banking license. Come in, roll up your sleeves, get things done, and take ownership and accountability for it.
Capitec is the most aspirational brand in South Africa. As a client, I will go into a Capitec branch and the whole experience of being treated as the number one priority in the person who's serving me's life is incredible.
Accessibility means that Capitec has made products like his very accessible kumntu wonke osidingayo. Capitec usivulile ingcango ba xa ubafuna udinga uncedo bakhona bazakunceda, sikhona sizakunceda.
Re thusa malapa gore ba kgone go nna le bokamoso bo botoka. Ha re felle fo re ba thusa le gore ba kgone go itse gore ba boloka yang tšhelete ebile ba kgone go investa yang.
Seeing the smiles on young children's faces, knowing that we are impacting the future of South Africa.
Ek is trots om deel van Capitec se storie te wees. Dit bly nie net in die kantoor nie. Dit raak mense se lewens. Dit doen al vir 25 jaar.
Please welcome to the stage our CEO, Graham Lee.
The way that I recall last year is there were definitely fewer and distinctly easier questions for Gary. It's been a really exciting 25 years for Capitec. None more so than the last year for me personally. Thank you. Thank you very much for the privilege that you've given me and the trust that you've shown in me in allowing me to lead Capitec for the last 25 years. Thank you to all of our incredible people who work so tirelessly, and our board, and our shareholders, and of course our clients, as we continue to work together to build this great company. Out there in the world, it remains volatile and uncertain. But at Capitec, our response is not uncertain. We build resilience deliberately. We do so with discipline. We do so by diversifying our income, by being appropriately prudent with our capital and provisions, by being disciplined and never dropping our standards, and of course, by focusing on our clients. If when you look at the screen, you feel a little bored, because you have seen it before. Good, I'm really glad. That's what I was going for. I hope to be showing you this slide again next year and the year after and many years from now, because whilst the world changes, our principles do not. We remained disciplined and focused on the things that have always mattered. A great company requires 3 things. People, exceptional people. Purpose, those people working together towards a common purpose. And principles, all of them aligned by shared values and fundamentals. Capitec has all of those 3 in abundance. And because of that, the last year, my transition into the role of CEO has been an absolute joy. We make sure that we don't ask the wrong questions. We think of the long term. We don't ask ourselves, how do we lock our clients in? Rather, our focus is winning our clients every day, again and again. And that takes exceptional people, really exceptional people. And exceptional people do not grow on trees, nor are they readily available at our competitors. And so our focus is on growing our own. What makes me most proud about our last few years is our people growing in their careers. All of the efforts that we've put into wellness and opportunity and development, but most importantly, the internal mobility that focuses our people development plans on giving our own people opportunities to grow means that our attrition rate continues to drop, even since the year end, and that's now 7.4%. Our internal hire rate is up at 74%. That's not by mistake. That is years of planning and prioritization so that people are ready to step into those positions and be excellent when they're there. And all of our people thrive within the communities that we serve. Economic and financial inclusion remains central to our purpose. We don't have specific targets because Cora nailed it. In serving every client in South Africa the best we can, it necessarily creates financial inclusion. In addition, though, we also recognize that education is one of the most powerful drivers of opportunity. Through the Capitec Foundation, we're working inside 33 public schools with a whole school model, which is not a workshop or 1 year of intervention. It is a sustainable program that's touched more than 23,000 learners. I will reshare with you just a slice of the results from year end. It's not to bore you, it's just firstly a reminder of a good year past, but much more importantly, to re-emphasize our philosophies. Our approach is to continue to diversify earnings. And you see that in strong earnings growth across lending and non-interest revenue. You see that diversification across businesses beyond banking, such as insurance, value-added services, and Connect. In the credit numbers, you see our focus on accuracy and discipline in how we manage our credit business, and you see in the OPEX line continued investment. We always reinvest in our future, and we make sure we do so with the discipline that means that we can continue to stay true to our fundamental of affordability. Our business model is one of scale. It scales our business model because of our clients. That scale creates economies, and we share those economies back in order to scale further, the virtuous cycle. In the last financial year, the total value of that share was 1 billion rand. The sources of our income are increasingly diversified, but our personal bank remains both the biggest contributor to those earnings as well as the launch pad from which all of our other businesses fly. Business banking for both formal and emerging businesses is the greatest growth opportunity in the 3 years ahead. Insurance is already a quarter of our earnings, or more than a quarter of our earnings, while the platform enables future growth both beyond banking and beyond our borders. Clients vote with their feet. We've continued to grow our client numbers. What you see up on screen, these are updated numbers as of the 30th of June. They are just for 4 months, and they're not annualized. Growth rates across all segments are on track, and we continue to grow. Digital and youth particularly continue to grow very strongly. And small businesses, and that includes formal business, entrepreneurs, sole proprietors, and emerging businesses, have grown 30% in the last 4 months. Because of the Capitec brand. Our vision is to be the most trusted brand. I believe that in a post-truth world of AI-enabled cybercrime and greater instability and insecurity, that it is and will continue to be a competitive advantage to be the most reliable, the most secure, the most stable, the most trusted. And to that end, we continue to invest heavily. Because of that investment, we continue to make significant strides in protecting our clients and preventing financial crime. Our interventions saved our clients 699 million rand and prevented fraud losses in the last 12 months. And you see that reflecting not just in our own stats in terms of improved client satisfaction. You also see it out there in external indicators. For example, with the recent Financial Ombudsman's report. There are a few types of market share which is fantastic to lose. And we are losing market share in complaints, and we are losing market share in crime and fraud. And you can see that in the Ombudsman report. In addition, the growth in our brand value from 8th in the country last year to 5th this year. Brand doesn't come from marketing. Brand comes from consistency in client experience, improving those problems and protecting our clients year after year. And so you see that in our brand strength. And we'll never stop. We continue to release improvements. Incremental and step change. Big and small, every single day. The cadence is high. And we use every single tool that we have to enable us to do that better. AI is not a strategy, it's a tool. Its value comes from how our people use it. Our approach to Gen AI is rapid but highly governed adoption. We have fully funded multiple domains, and those domains are already creating significant value using Gen AI. We use the best tools around the world, from around the world. We use both frontier models from the West, and we use open weight models from the East, because our clients deserve the best regardless of where it's from. It starts from protecting ourselves against cyber attack. If the criminals are using the best tools, you need to use them even better. It also includes governance. Gen AI is a little bit like a lightsaber. And the last thing we want to do is spend the first day cutting off our own leg with it. So governance of how we use that Gen AI is absolutely vital, and therefore we have fully funded the right teams in order to be able to do so. We drive from the top down, dramatic change to improve our client experience, but we also enable all of our people, the bottom-up approach, with the right training and tools and opportunities so that they can thrive in helping make Capitec better using these tools. Our purpose of making a meaningful difference, a significant impact in South Africa's growth, sharpens what we focus on. Now, a little while ago, a couple of weeks actually, Grant and I went and saw many investors in Singapore and Hong Kong, and one of those investors made the statement that he loves Capitec, the brand, but he hates the neighborhood. And our response was, glad you love the brand, we do too, but we love the neighborhood. We thrive because of the challenges. So many of our opportunities come because the work that we can do makes a big difference in South Africa. And one of those opportunities you see up on screen. And also, by the way, over there in the corner, if you want to get your own smart ID a little bit later, the self-service terminal is there and operational for you. We're already live in more than 200 branches, 211 actually, 212 with that one over there. And we have successfully served more than 430,000 clients since we launched this with getting them their smart ID. That's more than 85% of the total market of what banks have done. We thrive on challenges and we love the neighborhood. We'll launch our Stokvel account soon. I'm pretty sure that Sant and Harry feel a little bit like you, sir, about internet banking when it comes to Stokvel, because we're certainly not the first, but we will be the best. And on this, we will layer future opportunities like group insurance. Capitec Connect continues to connect our clients better. We launched free Connect to Connect calls, and in July alone, almost 400,000 clients have used 18 million free minutes because of that scale, because of how we're able to leverage it to give back to clients. It was there already. Online banking. So we continue to build it using a small team with Gen AI so that when we bring it to you, it will be everything that you need it to be. And we're in the latter stages, as I said, of the staff POC. And there are more and more opportunities that we are only just touching. The few that you see on screen show you the breadth of those opportunities and how we create value for all types of clients across the 95% of South Africa that we aspire to serve. The very greatest of those opportunities lies in backing South Africa's entrepreneurs, both formal and emerging. As I said earlier, clients vote with their feet. Since we launched the entrepreneur account and have made more services available for those people with hustles, with small businesses, in all types of market, including emerging markets, we've grown significantly, and just the last 4 months is by 30%. They are the future engine of our economy. They are the future engine of our employment. And the better we can serve them, the better off South Africa will be. I'd now like to share with you some excitingly low market share numbers. Excitingly low because there's runway. So if you look at personal bank, if you look at it from these angles, we have small market share. And we have not properly yet touched home loans and vehicle finance and all types of insurance. Stokvels. We've still got so far to go. In business banking, it's even lower. If you take all of the relevant headline earnings in South Africa, and we're excluding the very large corporate stuff here. If you look just at the relevant, we have only 5% market share of that 26 billion, 3% of lending, 2% of deposits. There is so much for us to do. And that's before we look beyond banking. All of us need to strategize and invest and plan and execute in multiple timeframes. We prioritize protecting and growing what has made us strong. And we do that through stability, security, and excellent client experience. But we think beyond that. In the next 1 to 3 years, we are accelerating those businesses which will have the significant impact on our bottom line in that time frame. We are already incubating, funding, actually working on those businesses in the 3 to 5 year time horizon. Embedded finance, an enterprise payments business that can take South Africa forward. And beyond that, we're Capacitec investing in strategizing and acting today for those businesses which will take us further beyond banking and even beyond South Africa's borders. I would like to end as I began with genuinely sincere gratitude. Thank you to all of our teams, our people for the fantastic jobs that you do. Thank you to all of our board members and Santi for your expert guidance and support, and to all of our shareholders for your support. To our clients, thank you for continuing to trust us. And as Santi said, we're here to connect with you for the rest of the afternoon. If you have any questions, myself and the rest of the board and the executive team would love to be able to answer them for you. So in long established tradition, please join us for some chips and bubblegum.